This is Gary Attention with CNTV, and today we're in New York. And our next guest is the definition of New York resilience. After immigrating from the former Soviet Union as a child and surviving the towers on 9/11, she spent over 2 decades mastering the complex world of Manhattan real estate. Julia, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you.
Just a few years ago, you faced really a major life pivot, having to start over from scratch with 3 children and really just a dream. What was your life like prior to you turning the second chance at life into a mission to help others?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. It was kind of a mundane life. I worked, at a real estate firm, 9 to 5, was very busy. So my life was in constant motion, but it was very like organized chaos. And after I had my children, I realized that I want to do more than just, work a job and be a mom, which I love, but I still want to contribute to society. I want to grow as a person. I want to inspire other people. I'm sure there are other girls that look like me, maybe ethnic looking, that want to enter the real estate world or the commercial real estate world, and it's a very niche community. So I wanted to put a face to that and inspire other people and other girls and my daughters as well.
I mean, organized chaos, seemingly safe. You immigrated from the former Soviet Union to New York City at just 9 years old, witnessing your parents working multiple jobs to build a life here in America. Did that early exposure to the immigrant hustle and the value of education kind of shape your approach to building your own business today, would you say?
Wow. Yeah, it definitely shaped me considerably because we had to grow up fast. When your parents are working several jobs and you're at home and you kind of have to sometimes take care of yourself, right? Do your homework yourself, maybe prepare something light to eat. I mean, we were lucky enough we had our grandmother with us, but regardless, we had to realize that hard work is everything and there's no way around it. And seeing our parents strive and give it all just to make it work for us, that was, very profound for me as a person, and shaped me considerably in my career to, be resilient and not give up.
They paved the way for you. Speaking of work, I mean, you were working at the World Trade Center alongside your family, September 11, 2001. You've touched on surviving that day really as a second chance at life. In what ways did that perspective of survival maybe influence your decision to later leave a stable corporate job and really bet on yourself?
Wow, yeah, that's a great question. You have amazing questions. That was a definite pivot for me and my family because when we worked at the World Trade Center, we really thought this was it. We worked, this is our job. We were proud of it. The American dream, we made it. We're at the iconic Twin Towers. We're so proud. And of course, our lives shattered on 9/11. And my father survived, my brother survived, I survived, my aunt. It was a lot of us, and it was nothing short of a miracle. And going through that, reliving that, seeing that, being in Manhattan after that, um, it was devastating. It was really devastating because you know, your system of safety was ripped away from you once again. And again, you're in survival mode. But the city of New York, it showed us what resilience is. Everyone banded together, there were programs, organizations, you name it. So much resources was available to us to get us through the tough times. And again, my parents were, the pillar of that, coming together. My father worked many jobs, and on 9/11, he was home. So it was good to see my father home. It was good to spend time with him. I mean, of course, not under those circumstances, but we had him home, which was amazing. And we spent time with him and my mom and my brother. So it kind of brought us together, became a big family nucleus.
Not everyone can say they walked away with survivors like you did. We all had a front row seat to see New York's resilience. I mean, you then found yourself unemployed, leaving an unhealthy relationship, moving back in with your parents. We're talking in your late 30s. What was
Yep.
that internal dialogue that helped you rise up and launch your own successful appraisal company?
Yeah, I mean, that was also not anticipated. I was always a working girl, a working woman. I was always the provider. I worked since I was 12 years old. So having my children and then having a relationship that had to unfortunately end, and realizing that I have to move back in with my parents. I was on maternity leave. The company was sold. I was unemployed. So I had to make a quick decision. What do I do next? Do I go back into corporate with, three children, or do I start something on my own and hustle my way through? And it was a no-brainer. I came to my parents and I said, "Listen, what do I do? There's a lot of risk involved, and I owe a lot to them because they were the ones that said, 'Do it. We'll support you. Whatever it is, we'll be there for you. Just do it.'" And
That's
that's it.
awesome.
And I was just in go mode since. I didn't look back. I didn't look at what could go wrong. In my mind, it was whatever could go wrong, we can fix it and move forward. That was it.
I always say that we are one decision away from a new life, and you made that decision rather quickly. You obviously found your niche. While many appraisers focus on bank and lender work, you purposely pivoted toward the legal field, specializing in real estate, divorces, probate. Did that specific niche maybe allow you to scale your business differently than your competitors, would you say?
Absolutely. I mean, I come from a background of legal. So the firm that I worked at previously, they were also like a litigation firm that specialized in legal work. And you know, I was molded there, I was shaped there. So going in and when I had my own company, I realized that this is what I want to do. That's my strength. I know a lot about it. I work with attorneys. I'm familiar with a lot of legal lingo, and it was a no-brainer for me. It's just I never really had to physically testify. We had people at the firm who did that, and here I am, court appointed, testifying, being a expert witness on the stand, and doing it. That I mean, that was just a surreal experience, and it definitely boosted my confidence because it was like, wow, that seemed like something so scary, and I did it, and it wasn't so bad. It wasn't that scary. Um and as well as a lot of things in life, like being with you right now, this is something that is unusual for me. I have to push myself outside of my comfort zone to speak in public, to be a public person, to put myself out there, to be vulnerable. So it's a lot, but it definitely helped my business. I was able to kind of build connections with judges and attorneys and people in the legal world. And when the mortgage and when the post-COVID 2020 and when the rates started going up, the mortgage work slowed down, but I was busy. So it definitely helped me in that sense.
I mean, so the legal side of it was kind of a natural progression for you, but once again, it forced you to stretch out, go beyond your comfort zone. With over 2 decades of experience in the New York City market, have you seen the appraisal landscape kind of evolve? And what has been the key to maintaining a AAA appraisal and consulting's reputation for accuracy over those years?
Oh, it's an excellent question. I was trained to always double, triple check my data. So in New York City, we have the comfort of having everything at our fingertips. Everything is computerized, everything is online. Some counties you still have to go to the clerk's office or go to the county office or to the assessor's office. In New York City, everything is digital. So it helps me in my business. It streamlines things for me. I'm able to work faster. I also keep track of trends. Social media is a big thing. Most appraisers don't really do social media. It's kind of not really like a norm for this line of business. Or, brokers is different, but appraisers don't. And I also decided to pursue that and do social media and inform the public, teach the public. I often post, whether it's something that's happening in the news,
Or
or discuss some legal aspects, or teach the public. People call me and they confuse price, value, cost, all these terms. So I kind of go online and I teach the public, and that way they understand. And also again, it's marketing for me. So people are able to see who I am and what do I know and what can I bring to the table.
excellent. Like you say, not usual for appraisers. Speaking of education, I mean, I think it's important to clarify, you are a New York State certified general appraiser. For our viewers out there who may not know, what does that certification allow you to do that maybe a standard residential appraiser cannot, especially regarding complex commercial properties?
Yeah, so the appraisal world, it's a very niche community. So you can't really go to college and major to become an appraiser. You really need certain sponsorships and mentorship to really kind of piggyback you off of someone else to bring you along. So I was fortunate enough to have that in my mentors, Jerome Hames and Eric Hames, who really took me along and kind of showed me the ropes. So there's different certification levels. The certified general certification is the top licensing you can get, and that allows you to appraise residential and commercial real estate. Now, in order for you to get this license, you have to have a bachelor's degree. Uh, in addition to, you have to take courses, which are continuing education courses, varying by state. Every state has different requirements, but you have to go through your Department of State, see the requirements, take those courses, accumulate certain amount of work experience hours that you submit to the city for review. And in addition to take a state exam, which is very difficult. So it's a multi-step process, and it's not something that you could do overnight. But with the right mentors and with the right people, who can kind of guide you, you could definitely do it. But it's not something that you could just go and become on the whim. You
Right.
really need the right
Quite a
source.
few moving pieces to make sure that you can move and progress like that. I mean, a significant part of your business involves estate and probate appraisals. Why is a professional appraisal so critical during the probate process? And does your work kind of help executors and even the heirs avoid potential legal or tax headaches?
Yeah. So a lot of my clients, they call me when either a loved one passed away, or they realize they're beneficiaries of properties that they didn't know, or it's dissolution of assets between brothers or sisters when a parent passed away. So they're usually very lost at this point in their life because they just lost a loved one, or they have a legal issue that they have to deal with. So it's important that someone like me comes in and can kind of guide them through the process, explain to them, and kind of be a shoulder to lean on, in addition to providing, the services that I provide, and, kind of lead them along the way so they're able to handle the emotional part and the legal part simultaneously. And the importance of my background specializing in that is that I work with attorneys already. So it's a very easy, streamlined process for me and for them and for everyone else involved.
That's great. I mean, so we're not, it's not just data and numbers. There's definitely a personal human side to it. I mean, you also provide valuations for divorce and matrimonial disputes, nonprofit property appraisals. I mean, you go beyond just providing a number by offering a expert property consulting. I mean, you've always emphasized helping people in their time of need. Is that really the foundation of your consulting, would you say?
I would say absolutely. I mean, you have to have a human factor to everything. It's not just about the business, but it's also about the service. I mean, the appraisal world and the brokerage world, this is a service-based business. So it's important that people walk away from this experience with you feeling fulfilled, feeling happy, feeling like, you came in and you really took a load off of their shoulders and provided that support and guidance that they needed.
I mean, you do a good job of balancing the technical side and yet at the same time having that people personal skills to help people through the transitions. I think that's great. Julia, helping others is the foundation, but one of your primary drivers for opening your own practice was just being there for your daughters. How do you define success now that you have the flexibility to manage your own schedule? And what do you hope your girls will learn from watching you build this empire?
I'm doing it all for them. This is all for them. I wanted my daughters to see what resilience looks like, strength, compassion, and at the same time, I want to be there for them. If they have extracurricular activities or things that they're participating in school or trips, I want to be a part of that. I want to be involved, and when they come home, I want to greet them and have a meal for them for all of us to enjoy. So it definitely inspires me to be with them, and I hope I inspire them that, not only am I a great mom, but I'm also someone that they could look up to and maybe take after as a businesswoman and as an entrepreneur.
I'm confident to say that they are inspired because we're inspired watching this story, and I'm very happy to share it with my viewers out there. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen. What you're going to see is her appraisal website, but you're also going to see the site of her affiliate real estate brokerage firm that assists with the sale of estate, probate, trusts, and distressed properties. I mean, we're talking, this is a full service firm ran by a businesswoman who inspires others to be strong, confident, and self-reliant. Once again, that is Real Estate Appraisal and Consulting, experts in the valuation of both residential and commercial properties. This is Gary Atensa with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.